I mean, all organisations have high calibre individuals and, you know, want to have good strategies to be able to develop those individuals. And I think today is a really good example of that, you know, identification and then looking at ways in which you can build people's skills to enable them to take on their next role.
Today is the first of the 2 days of the Development Centre, and these 2 days are about saying, okay, what do they need to do to develop their very clear potential to being as good as they can be, and how can we help them do that over these 2 days, but more importantly over a programme over several months.
It's been really interesting so far. Good opportunity to see the candidates in their group activities, but also to observe them one-to-one and just have a chat with some of them about what's brought them to this point in their career. So yes, it's been interesting.
I think today it's been fantastic to see 30, I was going to say future leaders, but these guys are leaders already in what they do. They're very senior individuals in the NHS, but obviously one day very soon will become directors of finance, chief operating officers or chief financial officers for the NHS, and will lead, and I think they've been fantastic. I've found it really enjoyable to watch.
There's a perception that we checked out through the workshops and the questionnaires of concern about taking that step to being the person who's held to account for overseeing and directing the finances of organisations when we're in such a challenged time. I think there are some perceptions about whether you can get a reasonable work-life balance, and possibly something about if you're in a really good deputy role, why would you take that step, put yourself forward in that way, which we needed to balance out and explain and support people to understand that it isn't about you being personally accountable for the financial management of an organisation. That's the whole of the organisation. And what are the advantages and the good things from taking that next step, and how rewarding and enjoyable the job can be, and how we can help and support them to get there rather than them feeling that they're left to try and do that on their own into what can feel like quite an isolated role.
That's the one thing we're seeing today actually, which has really fascinated me, and we've done some case studies and people were almost not willing to make a decision because there was no perfect answer or they didn't have enough information. And actually, most decisions I make is probably not a perfect answer, but it's the decision you make on that given day with the information available. And actually, you can't really say we're not going to make a decision today, but we'll make a decision in 5 months. The world moves on, and that's the job of a director in many ways, to work with a board, to work with their peers, to say we need to make decisions. And I think that's the step up from some of today's group, that actually imperfect information is what we've got, and to make decisions on that feels brave. And I think sometimes having a safe environment that you can make a decision. If you make a mistake, learn from it, and that's something we've got to do right for this group of individuals. We've got to give them the time to not necessarily make mistakes, but make decisions in a safe way that they can have some support.
So we have just been so amazed and so grateful for the support we've got from the wider finance community at leadership level. We have got observers who are directors of finance, chief executives who have given up their time to come here and support these people getting through the centre and into that talent management, and that's just great to see.
I think in terms of observing, what we're doing is we're looking at people against a range of capabilities that have been agreed in advance by the actual programme of developing finance leaders. And in terms of a coach, it's then taking that observation and helping people's performance go to the next level. So as a coach, I'm trying to get the best out of people, make people grow, really sort of make people as good as they can be. I think that the great thing about working with people is everybody's different. So in a way, I don't know what to expect. It's what people bring to the table, it's their perceptions of how the day's been, it's the feedback that they get, how they respond to that. So I don't think in coaching there's a formulaic sort of 1 + 1 = 2. It's about sort of adapting to what's presented and how people take it on board and improve. So that's what I find exciting about being a coach, and hopefully that's what people find exciting about being coached.
been really quite challenging so far. We've had to do a scenario based on a quite realistic STP scenario about closing a unit. So the timescales are really challenging, lots of information to absorb. So in that sense, it's quite a realistic scenario, working with groups of people that you've never met before. So yeah, it's been tough, but actually really enjoyable and I think quite helpful in developing skills as well.
Yeah, it's been a really good experience and taken a lot out of the whole kind of group discussion as well. That 2.5 hours went really, really quickly. It felt realistic, and I think we were trying really hard not to get into the detail and kind of step back from it as you would when you're a CFO. I think for me, the most important piece now is the kind of feedback, which is the areas of where they're saying you need some development. But I think also it's the networking piece of meeting 30 or 29 of your peers is just really good, because there isn't a forum for deputies where they come together, and I think I just see this as a great forum that you can kind of build on that and have further networks going forward.
Hopefully the relationships that the people who've been on the programme will build, the network that they will build, will enable them to work together beyond these 2 days and really build skills together that will take them into the future. So hopefully this is just the beginning of a much longer term project for these people. I guess actually what has been really interesting with people that I've observed so far in activities is how much the patient is at the heart of what they do. So actually, you know, despite the fact that they are clearly in a very specialised finance role, it's been interesting and I guess reassuring as a patient. It's been interesting to really see how much they are considering patient services and patient care as a result of the decisions that they're taking.
It's just so exciting. This is our very first cohort, our very first development centre. It is going to be something that we're doing each year, but it's just great to see how the team that's organised this has done such a great job. Everything's really well organised, the participants are really kind of up for it and excited and engaged, and we are as well, and I'm really hopeful that over kind of the 2 days they're going to come out with something that's really powerful, really tangible for them about their personal development plan.